My ex-wife and I adopted our son when he was 6. We had been his foster parents for 3 years, and we wanted to make it official. Son met his wife when he was 18. She knew he was adopted, and she thought it would be good for him to get to know his biological parents. Over the next few years, my ex-wife and I were slowly pushed out of his life. When they got married, we only received a wedding invitation. We were not part of the wedding party. His biological parents and their spouses sat at the family table. As a result, we've not had the opportunity to meet our granddaughter, and she's a toddler now. I'm sad about the situation, but my ex-wife is heartbroken. I hate to see her hurt when all she did was to try and be a good mom. I'm not a fan of my daughter-in-law, and I wish she had never come into our lives. Recently, they've run into financial problems, and they lost their home. My son's job is in our city, and his biological parents and in-laws all live in other cities. He called my ex-wife to ask if they could stay with us while they got back on their feet. I said no. My ex-wife wants to, but I refuse to be used. He's been distancing himself from us for 9 years now. The only reason he called us was that he was desperate. I don't think I owe him anything. I offered to pay for whatever it costs for him to move his family to the cities where his real family is. His wife called me to scream at me. She says that I'm abandoning my son and grandchild. I said that since he didn't think of us as his parents when he got married and had a child, they shouldn't think of us that way now. Then I blocked her. My ex-wife says that I'm being too harsh and that I need to forgive them. But here's the thing. I don't think it'll change anything. All that'll happen is that they'll live in our home, then abandon my wife again as soon as the chance presents itself. Edit. He was removed from his biological parents because they were very young, and it wasn't a good situation. My ex-wife and I are divorced. She's in an extended care facility, and he can't live there. I kept our home. I'm still friends with her, and we see the kids together as a family. I still care deeply for her, but she didn't want me to deal with her condition. Our son didn't even know we had separated when he called her. Not the idiot. He's been pushing you away for 9 years for his bio parents. He's clearly indicated you're not his parents. He doesn't get to randomly come back and majorly disrupt your lives because he's in a bad position now. He would 100% be using you, and his wife sounds awful. You were more than generous to offer to pay for them to relocate. I understand your wife wanting to bring him back, but it sounds like he has no remorse over how he's treated y'all for almost a decade. Son's wife sounds like one of those who enter a situation and immediately decides that she knows what's best and bulldozes everything that came before. The fact that his wife would call screaming at you illustrates that she still has absolutely no clue what they've done to you and your ex-wife. So why should you expect that behavior to change? Agree. You raised him from 3 years old to adulthood. That should have meant something to him. It should have meant enough to at least keep you in the loop on his life. But his actions say that it was not enough for even that. It's never a good idea to allow anyone, even your own child, to use you, especially after they've treated you with such disregard. And given your summary at straight value, that's exactly what he and his wife seem to want to do. So his bio parents weren't in the picture, but now they reap the reward of having their adult son and his family in their lives, while you've never even been able to meet your toddler granddaughter. You live in the same city, and you've never seen her? They don't care about you. After abandoning you and your wife, calling you to ask for help is outrageous. At this point, I'd consider going no contact to lessen your pain. His former son, since he went no contact by his own choice, and his family are total idiots here. They're trying to use OP and his ex-wife. OP's ex-wife is upset because, as I'm sure you know and agree, she desperately hopes her former son will suddenly love them again, which I think is about as likely as you know where freezing over while pigs fly overhead. Users don't care a bit about their targets. And yeah, his former son's wife disgusts me completely. I wasn't a great person in high school. My friends and I had our little clique, and we weren't so nice to some classmates. I tried going to college, but it wasn't for me. I got a job at a car dealership and eventually started selling cars. I'm pretty good at it, so I make a good living. My younger brother did great in university, and he has a pretty good future ahead of him. After he graduated, he started working in the city, and there's a club there for graduates from his university. He ran into a girl that I wasn't very nice to in high school. She's a couple of years older than him, but they started dating. I don't think she realized he was my brother, and he likes that they grew up in the same hometown. He brought her home for Christmas, and my parents had sold their home after we all moved out, so they didn't live in the same town anymore. She recognized me right away. I didn't recognize her. I guess she got past the ugly duckling part of growing up. She's very physically attractive. She's also doing well in life. She only said something once. I approached her after dinner. She asked if I honestly couldn't remember her, and I didn't, until she reminded me of the stuff I used to do to her. I felt sick to my stomach. I immediately apologized for everything and said that I had been an idiot kid and that I'd grown up since then. She said that she was glad and that she accepted my apology. I sent out my wedding invitations recently, and my brother RSVP'd with his +1. I asked him who he was bringing, and he said that he was bringing his girlfriend, the girl from Christmas. So I guess she never mentioned me. I kind of wanted to ask him not to bring her. Many of my old friends would be at the wedding, and I didn't want anything to happen. She forgave me, but I still think it was kind of shady that she never brought up our past with my brother. Would it be an idiot move if I asked him not to bring her to my wedding? You are the idiot. You don't sound like you've grown into a better person since high school, as you credit yourself with. Ugly duckling phase? You're still in your mean girls phase. Let the past be the past. Also, OP, who the heck do you think he's bringing as a +1? The girl from Christmas? Dear Lord, girlfriend. It's his girlfriend. And what are you worried about her doing? You were the bully, not her. Yes, you are the idiot, but let me get this straight. You don't want to invite her because you think it's weird she hasn't outed you as a bully to your brother? If I were to hazard a guess, OP doesn't want to be reminded of being a bully, and if that group of friends is at the wedding, they know that something's going to happen. What if your brother marries this girl? Will you skip the wedding and cut contact? Genuinely asking. OP's surprised she hasn't outed him, because that's what OP would have done. No. It's also that OP is still friends with all their fellow bullies, and they don't want any incidents. You know, because even though they're a much better person and all, they still hang around with idiots and prioritize those people being at their wedding. I think that OP is afraid that their friends will bully the former bullying victim again, or that there might be some confrontation between them. So OP's trying to fix it by removing the bullying victim. This basically means OP progressed from aggressor to enabler, which is kind of progress, but not enough. Agree. And soon everyone in your family knows what a bullying idiot you were and how you continued to discriminate against and exclude her to try and keep it a secret. How do you think that plays out for you? Your chickens are coming home to roost. Better get ready to deal with the consequences of you being a garbage person. When my wife, 28, and I, 32 male, were still dating, we had this thing where we said before every anniversary we would divorce each other so we could get married again and go on another honeymoon. We've been doing this for the past 3 years, and I have a reminder on my calendar named Prepare for Divorce 6 months before, so I start booking flights, thinking about taking time off, etc. Silly, but yeah. A while back, we were out with a few of her friends. At some point in the night, I excused myself, but left my phone on the table. I noticed after I got back that one of her friends, Kim, who's normally pretty okay with me since we play games together, was strangely cold to me, but I thought they might just have been tired. Long story short, the reminder just happened to pop up while I was away, and Kim saw it. They then started telling all my wife's friends and met up with my wife to tell her the bad news. She was equally confused and embarrassed, but eventually cleared the misunderstanding up. I was and am pretty unhappy with Kim for violating my privacy and not trying to clarify the situation before blowing it up. My wife understands where I'm coming from, but says Kim was trying to protect her. Kim thinks I'm an idiot for having something like that on my phone and refuses to apologize. My wife's friends are split. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. She should have spoken to you or your wife if she was so concerned, not spread it around like a high schooler dishing the latest gossip on who slept with whom. That was beyond childish. There was no protection in spreading your personal situation to everyone you knew. She wanted to spread gossip, period. Your wife needs to understand that too. OMG, she shouldn't have been looking at your phone. Full stop. Again, nosy gossiper. Kim chose to tell everyone about this juicy scoop, and now she's embarrassed that she got it wrong. She made an idiot out of herself, and she knows it. That's why she's salty. My SO and I always joke about divorce, so I get it. Weird to put it in your phone, but you do you. I guess commitment to the bit. But yeah, I think you are the idiot and overreacting. She wasn't being mean or malicious, and it's not like she went through your phone. It just popped up when she was near it. It's actually nice of Kim to stick up for your wife so much. If I saw that by accident, I'd have a million questions and would assume preparing meant meeting lawyers, etc. Of course, no one would ever see that and assume it was a joke. For my eldest son's mid-teen birthday, I gave him an old car of mine that I hadn't used in several years, and it had broken down. I also gave him some money to help him fix it, but he had to spend a lot of his own money to fix it. When my second son turned the same age, he wanted a motorcycle, and I gave him an old motorcycle of mine. It worked fine enough, and he hasn't had to spend any money fixing it yet. These were their only presents for me. My daughter's birthday was last week. I know my daughter wanted a car, but I don't have a car sitting around to give her. I gave her $500 for a car and got her some jewelry. I told her she would need to save up herself if she wanted a car, and I could help her get a loan in my name. She has a job, so this isn't out of the question. She was a little sulky about the situation and complained that I had given her brother's vehicles, but understood that I wasn't trying to spite her. I have other younger sons I'll give the same to when they turn this age, so this isn't me trying to single her out. I should have thought about how I wouldn't be able to give my younger kids the same treatment as the oldest when I gave him a car, but he's significantly older than my other kids, so I wasn't really thinking of them when I gave him the car. I was just trying to do something nice for him. Although my daughter isn't too bummed over the car, my ex-wife is a different story. She's seen me give the other boys nice things for their birthday. My eldest is her stepson and thinks I'm treating her differently because she's a girl and that I always prioritize the boys. Apparently, my daughter was more upset about the lack of a car than I had thought. She thinks I should at least put more money towards our daughter getting a car, as she knows I can afford it, and I'm being an idiot by not getting her one. I told her that she could also give our daughter money for a car. The truth is, I could probably afford to put more money towards buying my daughter a car, or even finding a cheap used car to buy her. But by giving her the $500, I already spent more directly on her birthday present than the boys, as their presents were sitting around collecting dust in my garage. I can't remember how much I gave my son to fix the car, but it was max $250. I have 3 younger kids. I can't really continue to set a precedent that I'll buy each of them a car. Am I being the idiot? I feel like I ruined her birthday by letting her down. You are the idiot. You gave your boys something worth more than $500 and some jewelry. You gave them freedom, but you gave your daughter a whole case of resentment. You blatantly favor your sons. How do you expect her to feel about this? Agree. My dad did the same thing with my brother and me, but in reverse, and my brother's very distant with him now. He and I were always close, and we shared the car I got without a problem. He never held a grudge against me. Things like that, though, just get under your skin, and if it happens a lot, it slowly chips away at the relationship without you even realizing it. The problem was that I got an expensive gift while my brother didn't. For example, now I wouldn't give one of my kids an iPhone and $50 to the other. Either they both get something expensive or something cheaper. The jewelry is what gets me. He didn't just fail to give his daughter a car. He added insult to injury by giving her a blatantly gendered replacement gift. He went full-on 1950s with his birthday gifts. Even if he didn't intend to send a gendered message, his daughter sure as heck would have interpreted it as one. Didn't you understand? The cars were collecting dust in the garage, so they're absolutely worthless. Right, OP? Just like the money in your savings account, just sitting there collecting dust. Maybe transfer all of that to your daughter. Dude, please take the time to estimate the replacement value of a working car and working motorcycle and use those numbers rather than assuming zero value since you own them. That's not how assets work. So my female 23, twin brother 23, and his girlfriend 21 are going to have a baby, and they found out that it's going to be a girl. So when they were asked what they would name their baby, they said they planned to name her Amelia. I wasn't happy about this, but I wanted to give them a chance to explain themselves. So I asked why they would give their baby that name. My brother's girlfriend said that she has a coworker with that name and that she loved it because of how unique and quirky it was. This really upsets me, and her reasoning for giving her that name made me even angrier because I was hoping to name a future daughter of mine Amelia after a late childhood friend who passed away from cancer when we were 12. Her name is significant to me because Amelia and I promised that if she was going to pass away, I would name my daughter after her so that she could be remembered and officially be a part of my family. It's even worse in my opinion because this is no secret, and my brother knows about that promise. I've even talked about it multiple times beforehand. So I voiced my disagreement over the name and told them why I didn't particularly appreciate them naming their baby that, and asked if there was any way that they could pick a different name for their baby. But they told me I was entitled about it and said that they wouldn't change their minds about it because I don't have the right to claim the name, especially since they had a daughter first. They don't know if I'll ever have a daughter in the future anyways. My brother did try to compromise by stating that he'll be the one to uphold that promise for me and that he'll make sure that Amelia will be properly remembered. But I told him that won't work because I was the one that Amelia asked to make that promise, and it wasn't going to be the same since he never made that promise to her. However, in the end, they insisted on naming their future daughter Amelia, and I just walked away in anger over the whole thing. I haven't talked to them for about a week, and I've intentionally avoided them because I really don't want to deal with them. But friends and family are telling me that they're really disappointed in me, that I'm acting so childish, and to get over myself over a name, and to apologize to my brother and his girlfriend over making a scene about it. Am I the idiot? And should I apologize to them? You are the idiot. You should apologize. You may never have a daughter, and you can't dictate their name. If you do have a daughter, you can still name her Amelia after your friend. Tell them this when you apologize. If they don't want two Amelias in the family, they can do something about it. What exactly is OP supposed to apologize for? The brother made a decision that hurt them, so they distanced themselves. Of course OP can still name her future daughter that. Of course OP can't stop them from using the name, but that also doesn't mean they have to play happy families with their brother and his kid. OP, you're not doing anything wrong. If you feel hurt enough by your brother's decisions that you don't want to speak to him, then don't. If your brother decides that the name is more important than his relationship with you, that's his choice. I normally don't agree with saving a name, but in your case, in the meaning and your brother knowing this, you're not the idiot. But may I offer a suggestion for you to keep your promise? Amélie is the original French version of the name, and Amelia is the German, and Delia is the Greek. They're all beautiful like your friendship with your friend, but would give your baby something just a little unique, so she can have a little of her own as well. Also, I'm a bit petty, so I would call their baby Amy or another variation.